There was a time when I thought every game had to be bigger, louder, faster. More explosions, more action, more competition. If a game didn't have constant excitement, I probably wouldn't have given it much attention. But somewhere along the way, something changed. The older I've gotten, the more I found myself drawn toward quieter games. Games that don't rush me. Games that don't constantly demand my attention. Games that simply invite me into their world and let me exist there for a while. And honestly, I don't think it's because I'm getting older. I think it's because I finally understand what I want gaming to be. When I was younger, gaming was often about proving something. Could I beat the hardest boss? Could I finish the game before my friends? Could I unlock everything? Could I master every mechanic? There was always another challenge waiting, another achievement to earn, another reason to keep pushing forward. And don't get me wrong, I still enjoy a good challenge. I still appreciate a game that asks me to learn its systems and rewards me for getting better. But these days, challenge isn't the first thing I'm looking for. Peace is. One of my favourite things to do now is simply wander. I'll walk through a forest instead of sprinting. I'll stop to watch the weather change. I'll listen to the music instead of skipping past it. Sometimes I'll stand on a hill for a minute or two, just looking at the world the developers created. 20 years ago, I probably would have called that boring. Today, I call it relaxing. Life gives us enough noise. Phones ringing, emails, news, responsibilities, deadlines. Sometimes the last thing I want after a busy day is another game demanding that I react in half a second. Sometimes I just want somewhere peaceful to spend an hour. One thing I've learned is that quiet games aren't empty games. They're often incredibly rich. They simply ask you to slow down enough to notice the sound of the wind through the trees, footsteps on fresh snow, birds in the distance, a sunset that slowly changes colour, tiny details that you completely miss if you were racing toward the next objective. Those moments stay with me, not because they're exciting, because they're memorable. When I think back over all the games I've played, it isn't always the boss fights I remember. Sometimes it's crossing a beautiful field for the first time, walking into a quiet village at sunset, finding a hidden cabin deep in the woods, hearing a piece of music at exactly the right moment. Those experiences are difficult to explain. They aren't highlights, they're feelings. And I think that's why they've stayed with me for so many years. Something else has changed as I've gotten older. I don't really feel the fear of missing out anymore. I don't need to play the newest release on day one. I don't need to keep up with every trend. If everyone else is playing one game and I'm happily exploring another, that's perfectly fine. Gaming has become personal again. I'm not playing for the internet. I'm not playing because a game is popular. I'm playing because, for a little while, it makes my day better. That feels like a much healthier relationship with the hobby. People sometimes ask why I mostly stick to single-player games. The answer is surprisingly simple. They're peaceful. When I sit down after dinner, I don't want to worry about letting teammates down. I don't want voice chat. I don't want pressure. I don't want to keep checking the clock because someone else is waiting for me. I just want to pick up a controller, disappear into another world, and enjoy the evening at my own pace. If I need to pause, I pause. If I want to spend 20 minutes fishing instead of following the main quest, I can. That freedom has become incredibly valuable. Sometimes I wonder if games were always supposed to make us feel this way. Not stressed, not anxious, not constantly chasing the next reward. Maybe they're simply another way to experience stories, to explore places we'll never visit, to meet characters we'll remember, to relax after a long day, to feel a little wonder again. That's enough for me. The older I get, the less interested I am in games that constantly shout for my attention, and the more I appreciate games that quietly invite me in. Games that trust me to take my time. Games that don't mind if I stop to admire the scenery. Games that understand that sometimes the journey is more important than the destination. Those are the games I remember. Those are the games I come back to. And maybe that's why I love quiet games now more than ever. Not because I've changed as a gamer, but because I've changed as a person. And somehow, those quiet worlds have become exactly the place I need them to be. If you're anything like me, I'd love to know. Have your tastes changed over the years? Do you still chase fast-paced action? Or have you found yourself slowing down and enjoying quieter adventures too? Let me know in the comments. I genuinely love to hear your story.